Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. And today we're diving into a really important topic: how to handle difficult clients as a virtual assistant. So, whether you're just starting out or have been doing this for a while, chances are at some point you'll come across a client who's challenging to work with. It's not fun, but the way you handle these situations can make or break your business. So, let's talk about how to navigate these tricky situations with professionalism and grace. So, number one is to stay calm and professional. So, let's start with something simple but hard to do. I get it. When a client is upset or being demanding, your instinct might be to get defensive. But trust me, staying calm and professional will always work in your favor. Reacting emotionally or snapping back will only escalate things. I remember this one time I received an email from a client that was all caps. Okay, full of frustrations. My first reaction, I wanted to fire off a defensive reply, but instead I took a step back, breathed, and responded with a calm, collected email. Turns out the client was just having a stressful day. They actually apologized later. Sometimes being the calm one helps diffuse the situation entirely. And number two is to set clear boundaries and expectations from the start. So here's the thing: many problems with difficult clients can be avoided if you set clear boundaries and expectations at the onset or right from the start. A lot of frustration that comes up in a VA client relationships is due to unclear roles or boundaries. So, when you first start working with a client, make sure you're both on the same page. Spell out exactly what your services include, your working hours, and even how you prefer to communicate, and put it in writing. I had a client once who would text me at all hours of the night. It was driving me crazy until I realized I'd never told them when I was available. Once I set that boundary, the late night text stopped. So, trust me, this step is crucial. Number three is learn to say no politely. You know that feeling when a client keeps asking just one more thing? It can be tough to say no, especially if you're trying to keep them happy. But saying yes to everything isn't sustainable, and you'll end up burning out. It's totally okay to say no as long as you do it politely with a solution in mind. For example, if client wants you to work over weekend or take on extra tasks without extra pay, you can say something like, "I'd love to help with that, but this falls outside of our agreed scope. We can either add it to the project for an additional fee or I can prioritize it next week." It's about being firm and respectful. There was a time when I kept saying yes to a client's extra request, and before I knew it, my workload had doubled without any additional compensation. Once I started pushing back, again politely, they respected my time more. And weirdly enough, it's improved our working relationship. Number four is to actively listen and empathize. Sometimes clients are difficult because they feel like they're not being heard. So before getting defensive, take the time to really listen. Ask questions, clarify what they're frustrated about, and show empathy. You'd be surprised how much diffusing power a simple, "I understand how you're feeling and I'm going to work with you to fix it," can have. One client kept saying they weren't happy with my work, but couldn't pinpoint why. After sitting down and listening carefully, I realized it wasn't about the work. It was the timeline. They just needed more updates to feel secure. And number five is focus on solutions, not problems. When something goes wrong, and it will at some point, focus on finding solutions, not dwelling on the problem. Clients don't want excuses. They want to know how you're going to fix it. Even if the issue wasn't your fault, being the person who brings a solution to the table shows that you're proactive and reliable. If, let's say, for example, if a task didn't turn out the way they expected or something got delayed, instead of just saying, "Sorry about that," you can say, "I understand that didn't go as planned. Here's what I'm going to do to fix it and make sure it doesn't happen again." This line actually works wonders. This reassures them that you're in control and care about delivering quality work. I had a client once who was upset because I misunderstood a task. So instead of making excuses, I immediately offered a new plan to make it right. That not only saved the relationship, but built more trust. And number six is know when to walk away. Let's be real, not every client is a good fit, and that's okay. Sometimes, despite your best efforts, a client is just too demanding, disrespectful, or unreasonable. In those cases, it might be time to walk away. And as hard as it is to say goodbye to paying clients, it's better to preserve your mental health and work with people who really respect you. You can end the relationship professionally by saying something like, I don't feel I'm able to meet your needs effectively, and it may be best for both of us to part ways. This leaves the door open for future project but gives you the freedom to move on. I had a client who was never happy no matter what I did. I spent hours stressing over their projects, trying to please them. Finally, I ended the contract, and the relief was so immediate. A week later, I found another client who valued my work and was an absolute joy to work with. Sometimes, walking away opens the door to better opportunities. And number seven is build a support network. Handling difficult clients can be emotionally exhausting, so don't go through it alone. Build a support network of fellow VAs or freelancers who can offer advice, share experiences, or just listen when you need to vent. Having people to understand what you're going through can really help put things into perspective. There are times when I've reached out to other VAs in my network for advice and they've gone through similar situations. It's comforting to know you're not alone, and sometimes just talking it through gives you the clarity you need. At the end of the day, handling difficult clients is one of the toughest parts of being a virtual assistant, but it's also one of the most defining. It's about showing up with grace, resilience, and understanding, even when the situation feels overwhelming. I know firsthand how frustrating it can be when you feel like you're giving your all and it's not being appreciated. But remember this, how you navigate these challenges reflect your strength and your professionalism. You are more than just someone completing tasks. You're a trusted partner in someone's business. And sometimes that means making hard decisions like setting boundaries or even walking away. But every time you stand up for yourself, set clear expectations, or turn a tough situation into a learning experience, you're growing not just as a VA, but as a person. So don't lose sight of your value. There are clients out there who will appreciate what you bring to the table. So keep pushing forward, keep believing in what you do, and know that the right clients are out there, ready to value and respect your work. And if this resonates with you, don't forget to like and subscribe for more tips on building a thriving VA career. Be one of our Facebook subscribers, subscribe on YouTube. And if you're looking for support in finding clients who truly appreciate your skills, check out Virtuaforce. We're here to connect you with businesses that need your expertise. You've got this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.